Hey everyone, back with you this week with another quick video. This time we're talking about religion. Now, sociologists tend to look at religion quite a bit differently than what you might expect. Rather than place a great deal of importance on the actual religion with which one is affiliated, we're more concerned with the outcomes that are linked with that particular religious membership. The whole point here is that religion largely provides people with a specific point of view, a worldview. Their belief in what is right or wrong, what is good or bad, just or unjust, tends to follow a set of principles, oftentimes principles that were written a very long time ago and have very little application in our modern world. For example, some Jehovah's Witnesses do not believe in accepting blood transfusions. There are a number of passages in the Old and New Testament that describe eating blood as having negative connotations in the eyes of God. Unfortunately, the children of Jehovah's Witnesses sometimes die because their parents do not allow doctors to perform necessary procedures that keep them alive. Now, this is where the socialization process becomes really important. Many of us are the same religion as our parents. We grew up going to church, mosque, synagogue, or other house of worship. They inculcated, indoctrinated, and conditioned us to follow a certain path. They're our parents who would never steer us in the wrong direction, right? Well, consider how that child feels. They could live knowing all they need is a simple blood transfusion. Nonetheless, they're told by their parents that they cannot do so because living a life of religious belief has forced them to do otherwise. In some states, parents who deny their children this type of treatment are actually subjected to prosecution. Some are still in jail to this day. Clearly, there's a butting of heads between religion and law here, an antagonistic relationship between two of our major social institutions. You may have also heard of faith healing. In many parts of the world where access to sophisticated medical technology is lacking, this type of healing is utilized to a greater extent. You see it in our country at times too. Maybe you've seen an infomercial where some individual, typically older, has some sort of chronic condition or can barely move on their own power. They walk to the front of the stage so the entire congregation can see. Maybe they use a cane or a walker to reach the front. Then a preacher will say a few words, place his palm on the forehead of the individual, bang, push the person backwards, and then they fall into the arms of people waiting behind them. Inevitably, a few seconds later, they pop up again and begin dancing magically or have a lot more movement than they did before, magically cured of whatever has gone wrong with them. Whether it's fake or a trick, that's up to you to decide. Plenty of people believe this is truth. Sociologists argue that it doesn't matter either way. It's the consequences of such belief that are important. Another example I've seen in the past is stories of the power of prayer. Growing up, one of the local news channels in Lubbock had a segment where a person would be chronically ill. They would have cancer, a rare bone disease, or some other issue that would only give them a little bit of time to survive. They were always in a hospital setting, getting all kinds of treatment, hooked up to a variety of machines, taking a host of pharmaceutical medications. Meanwhile, family, friends, and others would come by and pray for the sick person. When the person recovered, they would largely, if not completely, attribute that recovery to prayer, saying that God saved that person. Well, there's a lot of evidence that having a healthy mindset can keep your body more healthy. It's called the mind-body dualism. However, prayer alone does not heal people. If you believe it does, that is your own call. Suffice to say, you'll be much less likely to live very long if you try to pray away something like HIV or hepatitis C. Belief is a very powerful tool, has lots of consequences. If you believe that a member of a certain religious group is evil and out to harm you, but you want to harm them first, my belief is what's important, not the actual reality. And we see people kill each other every single day over differences in belief about something that can never be definitively proven one way or the other. Thus, it's important that we take that step back and realize that religion is no more than an ideology, a system of cause and effect, a way of understanding the world. When we try to use this as a means of organizing a world where billions of people have different conceptions of why the world works the way it does, all sorts of awful situations unfold. That's it.